Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Hope y'all doing great. I am in my word, y'all, and I wanted to share a message I got. Um, if y'all want to follow along, okay. First of all, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're not subscribed. I'm gonna try to do more videos to just help motivate people, bring people to Christ, and get you in your word so that we can be living the best life we want to live. We don't want to be down and out and not moving in God's will for our life. So let's motivate each other and keep pushing. So back to what I was saying. I ended up reading my word today, and I'm actually in Mark 4. Mark 4. Y'all excuse my little piece. Okay. I'm in Mark 4, and I was reading. I started from 1, but what stopped me was um 14 and 15. So it's Mark 4, 14 and 15. Okay. So let me tell y'all about this verse and what I read so far. And so what I read so far is when he's giving the parable about throwing seed on the ground and sowing, right? So he references about how you would throw seed on bed ground that's dry and the seed's gonna wither away. You would throw seed on ground that had thorns, and the thorn will gobble it up, and so that won't last. But then he talked about throwing seed on good ground and how it's gonna yield fruit and how it's gonna increase. So that's what led me to talk about um the sower soweth, because we know that someone is putting into something, right? And so what they was doing, they was dropping those seeds to sow into the ground. But in this chapter they're talking about sowing into the word. And so my title was gonna be the sower sows. And so what I meant by that was that the sower, which could be the pastor or the leader of the church, they hear from God and then they deliver the message that God has for them, right? So if you look at it from a spiritual realm, they're actually sowing into you. And so someone might question and say, well, how is that possible? So we all go to church because we feel empty, because we might not know which way we need to go next, or whatever the case may be. And so we go to church to get you can say refer. Okay, so we go to church to get re-energized. Y'all, it's the craziest story, but I'm gonna go through that, then I'm gonna come back to it. And okay, and so the pastor or the leader sows into you. Now, the part that's tricky is um a lot of people have an issue with us as Christians sowing back into the church, right? Now, they have an issue with it because they don't know where the money's going, right? So if a pastor or a leader is sowing into you and they're getting depleted, how do you expect them to get refilled up? And another way could be by them reading the word, they can get refilled up. But also you have to be able to sow into someone else, right? And so the way you can sow back into that pastor or that leader is financially, right? Okay, so the pastor sowing into you, you're sowing into the pastor, and overall, we're all getting filled up. And y'all might not believe this, but when the pastor is pastoring to you, most of the time, the words that he's speaking, he's speaking to himself or herself. So for those ministers out there that are women, they can pastor too. And when they're speaking to us, they're speaking to themselves at the same time. The whole aspect of sowing is to just pour into something or pour into someone. And so, like I keep saying, the pastor is pouring into you every Sunday or every Wednesday when they have Bible study. And so they're pouring into you. And then you're pouring back into them by giving them tithes and offerings or whatever way that you give. Tithing and offering just ain't about money. It ain't always monetarily. It's 10%. But I'm going to talk about that on another video one day, right? All right. Now, another verse that got me, y'all. I'm going to go to my Bible. Now, this is, again, Mark 4:15. I'm going to read it a little slow because a lot of people have different learning styles. And so in order for them to actually get it, you have to read it slow and interpret what that sentence said before you move on to the next one. And I'm going to try to explain it. And then after I explain it, I'm going to read it again. All right. So Mark 4:15 states, "And these are they by the wayside." It says, "And these are they by the wayside, where the word is sown," right? These are they by the wayside, where the word is sown. When you go to church, the word, when the pastor is speaking, and that's God speaking through the pastor, they're actually speaking on, they're speaking to you, and that word is getting deposited into your mind, into your thoughts, into your feelings. That's why, and that's how we're getting filled up. That's a whole nother word too. But when you go to church and the pastor's delivering the word is being sown into your spirit. It's being digested and deposited into your spirit, right? Okay. So this is the part that got me. Yeah. It says, "But when they have heard," and he's talking about the word, "but when they have heard the word," right? "Satan cometh immediately." Let me read it again now, because this is what happened in church. It says, the word is being sown, but when they have heard the word, Satan cometh immediately. Let me read it one more time, y'all. Let me read it one more time, because it shook me up. It shook me up. Now it says, "But when they have heard the word, Satan cometh immediately and taketh away the word that was sown in your heart." Mic drop. What? Let me tell y'all something. We always talking about distractions in church. People constantly on their phone. People record and not listening to what they preaching about. So how can you be sown into, and how can you be filled when Satan is constantly right there? Oh, you know what? You should be worried about how you're going to pay your rent today. It's Sunday. Rent ain't due till tomorrow. Why you got me in church worrying about that? I'm trying to get filled up so that when Monday come, I know that I shouldn't worry about it, because God going to take care of that. But anyway, that's a whole nother sermon too. So in other words, y'all, I wanted to get up here and talk about us actually sowing our seeds into good ground so that it can be fertilized and be blessed, and it can prosper and it can yield fruit. Yeah, so the sower, which is the pastor or leader, sows the word. When the pastoral leader is sowing the word into us, it's up to us to accept that word and to deposit it into our minds so that we can have something throughout the week to fight Satan with. Because as the word just said, Satan is right there immediately. While the sermon's going on, he's right there immediately, y'all, fighting us in the sermon. And don't talk about walking out the church door and he right there again. Come on now. I just want y'all to do one thing. I just want y'all to read Mark 4, 1 through, that's a long one, 1 through 41. But the part that I read was 1 through 15. And you're going to understand that word, that how important it is to sow. And also how important it is to sow into the word. If you sow into the word and that word gets deep down inside of you, y'all, you wouldn't be as frustrated as you feeling. You wouldn't be as depressed as you're feeling. And all you have to do is just fight back with the word of God. And so I wanted to make sure that you know that in order to fight back, you have to sow into the pastor or the leader. When they deliver the word is going to be sown back to you. You're going to take that fruit and that word, and it's going to increase and yield fruit. And then, not to mention, while we're in the sermon, Satan going to be right there immediately trying to get on your last nerve. But just remember now what the word just said to you on that day. You gotta remember, I'm the head and not the tail. I am above and not beneath. Satan ain't got no power over me. You gotta remember, tell yourself that, because you have to sow that seed, y'all. I'm telling you, you have to sow that seed and let the blessing come back to you. So, become the sower, right? I'm looking at my Bible, but it says the sower soweth the word. Sow that word. Spread that word. Let's spread that word and get it to people that probably wouldn't have never thought about it. And another thing, be open to listening to people, y'all. Be an active listener. You would never know if somebody take this message that I'm giving y'all today and just go and tell somebody. It might make somebody interested to learn even more about God. But yeah, the sower soweth the word. We all have to sow. That's a part of our lives. And just sow the word. Keep the word deep down inside of you, and don't let Satan come immediately. That is not what we're doing. So be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I look forward to talking to y'all later.